So, welcome to the first podcast of the Koefiya Chronicles by the Youth Council of the Cape Malay Choir Board. Today I am here with Ahmed Ismail, better known as Mr. Chairman of the Shoprite Jonge Studente, who will be speaking about his history with the team and as well as his expectations for the season. So firstly, Mr. Ismail, how are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So I'm not going to still take long onto this, but I see that we do have the Shoprite Jonge Studente badge here with us. And for me today, I would just like to know, what does this badge of your club mean to you?
I'm not a founder of Jonge Studente, but the founders of Jonge Studente, they designed this badge. And I'll tell you how this badge was designed. And there is still 4 founders left of Studente. The one is Koki, that stays in Grassy Park. The one is Ahmed Ismail, that stays in Fractiton. And one just passed on now recently. And then there's still one that's Abu Bakr Hussein. They are still around. They are the founders of Jonge Studente. But I came to learn how they selected this badge. Because of the name Studente, they looked at the University of Cape Town, at the varsity. That is where they looked at. And they believed that whatever they're going to do is going to be like a student. Listen and learn. And that is how they came up. There was about 4 names. There was the Roses, was the one name. And then there was the Studente. And then there was a Gladiolus, I think. And I cannot remember what was
I'm not quite sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the Jonge Man?
No. Jonge Manne was young men, not Studente.
Okay.
I cannot now vividly remember what was the 4th name. But because at that time there was a lot of council people working for, a lot of council people that was working for the city of Cape Town, the council overs, the brommers, and most of them were members of Jonge Studente. And they were like chirping and chatting and how and whatever. And then they decided, listen, let's give the name Jonge Studente. Now, Jonge Studente, there was a Studente many moons ago in Salt River. So they couldn't use the name Studente because there was a Studente from Salt River many years ago. And because they were young at that time, in 1973, they were all young, and that is how they came on, Jonge Studente. That is where the name derived from. And it was 11 Tees Road, Mannenberg. That is where this whole Jonge Studente came along, and also it's a branch of boarding boys. Jonge Studente broke out of boarding boys.
Okay. Now see, there's just things that we didn't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jonge Studente broke out of boarding boys.
And there's just things that the public doesn't also know. You get what I'm saying? So I would just want to know from you, Mr. Ismail, what is your favorite memory of this organization?
What organization?
Shoprite Jonge Studente.
Oh, of Studente.
Yes.
Man, there is so much.
I'm sure there's many.
There is so much memories. You must understand that memories in this organization about Studente is things like when we had 11 points on the stadium, we came to win the Fez. We had 17 points, we came to win the Fez. Those are all the memories. And my memories is the people that is no longer there within this club, that made this club. At that time, I only came 3 years. 3 years after the exception of Studente, I came to Studente. Also via another member that we all belonged to Ottomans. For argument's sake, Amin Stere's father that Maningalt now, myself, Mosa, we belonged to Ottomans. And Solly Banjo.
Yes.
And Solly was the first one to have gone to Studente because he was playing banjo. And as you know, today, if you are friends, you move as friends.
Definitely.
You must know what the circle is like. And that is how I came to Studente. When I came to Studente, the very first year, I became the secretary. The last man in and I became the secretary. And ever since, I climbed the ladder with them because obviously, the way I was thinking, I'm a very moderate person. I look at nice things in the brand of singing. So that is my memories, how I changed Studente. But my memories lies with the people that formed the club. That is where my memory lies. And the people that are still there and that are still supporting this club, you know. Over and above the competition memories, that's klomp memories van die competition. So yeah, those, I mean, look in the archives. Studente is the choir that's won the most fezzes in the Cape Malay Choir Board. Studente is the choir that won the most top hits in the choir, in the Malay Choir Board. You look down in the history, they are actually the front runners. And I'm very proud to be the chairman of Studente today, with that rich history that they have. That things are changing, but how things are changing. We must remember that if we're not going to protect this culture, if we're not going to protect this culture, and we want to be fancy, and we want to do this, then this culture is going to die. If we're not going to protect it.
And that's something we don't want.
When I say protect it, is that, yeah, we can innovate, yes. But we must protect it in a way of its traditions and its criteria, in able to remain. Look at the new board, what's happening with him. Right? People are saying, the new board is quiet, they got so many teams. But if you take 10 teams in the new board, is the equivalent of one team in the Cape Malay Choir Board. One team.
Better known as the old board. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know, if we look at the standards, if we look at the quality, if you look at the quality, if you look at the standard, what one choir produce, even the smallest or the weakest choir, what they produce, you take 10 of the new board equals one of our
teams
in
the Cape Malay Choir Board. And like you have mentioned now, Mr. Ismail, for you it's been a privilege to be Shoprite Studente's chairperson. At this point in time, I would just like to know from you, what is your expectations for your choir this season?
Unfortunately, you all belongs to choirs, so I cannot say. Studente has always been a competing choir, irrespective over the years, the transitions that we had, we will still compete. We will still be that choir where everyone wants, an actual fact, what is the name? With a love to hate choir. Okay? Studente is a love to hate choir. And we'll still continue what we are doing. We'll still open up the paths for new developments. We'll still open up the path for a lot of things. You yourself know how Studente thinks. You come from the choir. You were very young yourself. You and your brother and your father. And look, where is your brother today?
Yes.
Now that is what I always say to Studente members. That is what I want to see. Is people that go out of the choir, then they must have at least learned something. Now your brother did that. Alhamdulillah, he's doing well at the moment. He did what we wanted everyone to do by Studente, is to learn. You know, we procure the best people, irrespective of the expense. But at the end of the day, tuition for the young folk is extremely important.
Definitely, yes.
Extremely important. I don't want to talk about myself, but if you look at Rangers, where is Rangers today? If you look at Bowling Boys, we are there today. If you go back in history, who guided them that way? Who was with them? Were their inceptions? Wie het vir hulle geleer?
You.
I taught them, I guided them. Alhamdulillah, they are good choirs today. And that is what we want to see. And yes, sometimes people say, why do you go teach another choir? But it's important for us to teach the choirs. Because how is that choir going to grow? How are we going to have good choirs in the organization if we're not going to do it? I know that there is individuals or people that are selfish, that don't want to teach others. But as a leader, that is your way of life. You have to lead by example. And how do you lead by example? You have to learn people. You have to teach them, you have to educate them. It's extremely important. That is for me, how can I say, and I'm going to reiterate, our whole organization is young at the moment. All of them is totally inexperienced. And if they're not going to learn and take heed or want to learn, then I don't see a long lifespan for our organization. But we that's on the outside, we know, as long as we're still around, we will see that we make them tick.
So the last question we do have for you today, Mr. Ismail, is what do you want the Youth Council to achieve with regards to moving or building a successful organization moving forward?
Man, the first thing that the Youth Council mustn't do, they mustn't become naive. They mustn't think they're God's gift to mankind if they have been selected in a position. Surround yourself with people that can teach you. Surround yourself with people that can guide you. Surround yourself with people that really knows the root of the sport. Those are the people that you need to round yourself. Don't think that you know a small little like this, that you're that old. Do you understand? You must grow into the sport. There is many things that the young folk still don't know today. Delve in the history. I know, alhamdulillah, I served, for your information and all of your information, I served under every president that was in this board. From Ibrahim Skroede Alrego, het ek onder geserve. Van hulle tot op vandag. I know all the presidents. I served under them. I know how they think. I was a lady of 13 years old. I sat in the board meeting. Okay? But those days, the sport was so quiet that you wanted to be there. It was a quiet sport. I mean, I was an ardent fan of the Breimsaal. Angelire,
yes.
Boetie's vader. Ek was 'n ardent fan van Breimsaal. Nou nog, as hulle Breimsaal liedjie speel, dan raak ek mal. Because, you know what, I grew up in front of him, man. I know, I saw the man. You understand? And those are the understanding that you must have, man. Alhamdulillah, want as ek nie meer daar is, gaan sy sê, ja, maar ek het ook daar maar te ken. Hy was 'n ander soort oog gewees, hy was die, hy was daai, hy was daai, and whatever, you know.
Hy was die beste chairman ook wel.
But, you know, in life you must divide yourself. In sport, you must decide, gaan jy die game speel, of gaan jy maar net trot along? Then you have your social side, how you are in your
Outside.
social activities.
Outside.
En dan how's yourself daar. Maar julle weet mos, iemand die wat ek kry in die sport,
Waarom is dit hier?
ek gaan vir jou seë maak. Ek gaan vir jou seë maak. Do you understand?
Definitely.
That is
It's
how we grew up, man.
part of it.
But there's one thing that is out of the sport. Is Guara. This sport was a Guara sport. In other words, sy was die vrotste team. Maar sy het kliphard met my gebreek. Jy, ons gaan julle wen, joh. Maar in die mente was ek die swakste team. Ons was die swakste team. But today you can't do that anymore. No, you can't do that anymore. And also there is so much unsportsmanlike in this sport nowadays. Even if I hear what's happening now, we're becoming like football. We're buying now membership. Yeah. Guys must wake up. We're buying membership now. Ek vir jou wil ek wil dit koop. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is what is happening. It's no longer a sport. It's win at all cost. I believe, man. They were very young. Can ask him. They were very young. Hulle het niks geken nie. We took them in. The only thing that you must make sure that your tuition is right. If your tuition is right, you're gonna have longevity in your membership for the education, and that is what must happen. Moenie omdat jy Ahmed is man. Jy wil vir Ahmed hê nie. Kyk vir Ahmed aan. Dan vra jy vir Ahmed, wat kan jy vir my leer? Wat kan Ahmed vir my leer? Do you follow what I'm saying? This is what should happen. But be as it may.
Shukran so much for that information, Mr. Ismail. I would once again like to say shukran for allowing us the opportunity to come into your home and to ask you these questions about your team and your organization.
But shukran for you guys. Julle is allemaal Rangers manne mos net. Ons gaat eerst vir julle afstof.
Once again, we would like to say shukran to Mr. Ahmed Ismail, the chairperson of the Jonge Studente. Firstly, we would like you to subscribe on our Instagram and TikTok page. You can catch all the podcasts live on there. Okay, but this is me, Koefiya Samson, signing out.